onto the computer. Okay, let me officially welcome all of you to the Thursday edition of our co-founder training that we do every Mondays and Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, like clockwork. And those of you that come live, you get special treats. Hey guys, what did you guys think of the treat you got? All that inside information you just got? What do you guys think of having all that inside information? You guys like that?
Yes, very impressive to see.
Yeah, this is
Yes.
certain things I can't put out in the public, guys. So that you have to be here in order to get that inside baseball, and I hope you all measure up. We've been kind of talking about what is it going to take to become a pool funding well. And let me tell you, it's like cement. When cement is wet, it can shift, right? And this can go over here, that could go over there, But cement by design is meant to harden. Okay, so I don't know if I put a date on it, September of this year. I think we're going to know who the wells are, and they're going to be the wells for the next, until we're all dead. Okay, so yeah, I think we're going to know who all the wells are by September of this year. Okay, and their wealth is just going to increase exponentially. There's a video on YouTube I want you guys to watch if you haven't seen it. It's also on it's actually at the very bottom of our page. Okay. So if you go to your account page on our website, okay, and you go all the way to the bottom of it, this $100 million video here, okay, $100 million. That's talking about, the value of becoming a well. The perks, benefits, and rewards of becoming a well over the next 20 years. I'm estimating the value to be somewhere around 100 million per well, times 50. Times up to as many as 200, but more likely it definitely gonna be less than 100 because we already have people that have more than one coin, right? So we've already identified a number of people that have all four of the coins. So that just shrinks the number of people that can be a well down, right? So yeah, if you're in the top 50 on all the coins, you're a super well. Okay, how about that? That's a good one. We should say that. Super well. Everybody unmute and say super well.
Super whale.
Super whale.
Super well.
So,
Super whale.
so if you're well in all four of the coins in all of them, you are super well. Okay. You get to wear a cape. Okay. So, it's fantastic. What it's going to be to become a well. And this is it. The time is now. Time is now to position yourself. It's worth taking a little extra money, okay, and get your position in. All you got to do is you figure out how much the guy on the bottom is. Any one of those coins. Take the price times the position number 50 in the holder list. Okay, what am I talking about here? I'll show you. Take the price of the coin. Okay, take the price of the coin. For example, PFG current price is 741,000 or 740,000 and dollars. Multiply that times number 50. So if you look at position number 50 there, position number 50 is 0.0005. Okay, so it won't take much to do that. So if you take 740, your calculator, 740 times 0.0005. Yeah, less than $500. So we're talking probably less than $400, right? Somewhere around 300 and something, $370 and change. okay, you could become a whale now, okay, right now in in pool funding in with the PFG coin. That's all you do. Just calculate the price times the 50th position. That's the guy you got to bump out. You know, you got to bump number 50 out and take over his spot. So take a look at whatever coins you already have, and then figure out the difference. Take the 50th spot, subtract the coins you have, and then the difference would be what you need to get in order to bump them out, right? And multiply that times the price. That'll tell you about how much it would cost to get into a well position. Okay, the wells are going to be they're a critical part of the ongoing infrastructure of pool funding. Their voices are going to be among the loudest. On we're going to go here, we're going to go there, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Okay, so it's not just one guy telling you what we're going to do. Okay, it's going to be a group of us, and the wells will have lots of stuff going on. They'll have means. See, they're not just coming with a voice, but they're also coming with means. Money, right? So a voice plus means power, great power. And then everybody that's in the co-founder position, they got voice. If you're one of the 10,000 co-founders, you got voice, right? How much means you have them? I mean, there's only so many that will be a well, right? So there's going to be, so many that are well. Very small number. So the small number will be the wells. Then 10,000, steering committee, which would be the co-founders, and then the 1 million partners after that. Okay. Sure. If there's something resonating in that 1 million and it's like the majority of them all kind of feel a certain way, then it's going to sway all of us, the co-founders, the whales, everyone. But, there's a lot of, people have a lot of interests, it's like rays of the sun, they shoot out many, many different rays. Uh, and then after that, general membership, right? So we're establishing the leadership of pool funding right now. That's what we're doing. Okay, that's why we're here, doing these trainings. Is I'm preparing you for your position as one of the great leaders, not just a leader, but one of the great leaders of pool funding. Okay, and even if today is your very first day joining pool funding, the good news is that you came at a perfect time, before things got out of hand, where it'd be really difficult to ever, get yourself into a well position. Even a person joining today, being their very first day, they could actually become a well. It's not going to be hard for them, but that may not be true a month from now. And by the time we get to September, I don't think we're going to have any new wells. I don't think we're going to have any people bumping anybody off by the time we get through September of this year. So we're going to know who our wells are, and these guys are going to be, they're going to be the main leadership team. Okay, main leadership team, because they have means, right? Voice plus means, more power, right? Voice alone, you got power. Voice with means, more power. Does that make sense? Does the equation make sense to you guys?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. So it makes no sense at all to sell any of our coins right now. The only thing we should be thinking about is accumulation, 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 for sure. The only thing that should be on our mind. So, and I think we've done a pretty good job getting that message out there. I think like 99% plus of our members have got the message that this is the time to accumulate, not the time to sell. Prices are too low. And until we get that PFI over 500,000 and the PFB over 1 million and the PFS over 2 million and the PFG over 4 million, even the thought of selling should be like, yeah, forget about that. Bad idea. For multiple reasons. Okay. So, but I think I did demonstrate to you guys that the inside information I shared with you. I did disclose to you just how much we know about the top 50 holders on all the coins. Like the majority, like over 90% of the people that are holding coin, we know who they are. I demonstrated that, right, guys? I showed it to you, right?
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Back me up, guys. Back me up, because this is for YouTube. Yeah. So we know who the holders are. Okay. And there's not some random people from the market. Okay. I guarantee you, almost everybody that's holding our coin has bumped into, probably me or one of my videos at the very least, you know. So we have very few that are falling in what we call the unknown category in the top 50 spots in any one of our coins. Okay. And I think eventually what will happen is those people will slide down. Their position is going to slide down, not necessarily because of selling, but because, there's going to be a lot more buying of the coin going forward as people are, competing to not only become a whale, but to maintain that status after they've reached it. Okay. So you want to keep on, keep the competition going. If you're in the bottom half of the wells, you're going to fight harder than the ones in the top half of the coins. You'll be the ones fighting less because you're already in probably a great spot and maybe more difficult to get past you. And then also this will encourage us to hurry up and get to our price targets. The sooner we get to our price targets, the better for everyone. Nobody loses when we hit our price targets. 100% of all of our members are happy when we get to reach all of our price targets. That's what we want, right? We want everybody to be happy, whether they're a whale or not. We want them to be happy, right? So, and if what people are holding becomes more valuable faster, that does make people happy. Then after that, we can have like a steady incline after that. I'm thinking like this right now, right? We're going to do this now. And after we hit our price target, then we'll kind of do that, right? We'll go like this and then like that, ongoing, kind of the steady incline for the next 100 years. All right. So that's what I wanted to present to you guys today. I also want to tell you that we're working hard to get that OneClick registration done. That's really holding up a lot of things, and that's one big, massive project that's taken already 2 weeks longer than was, scheduled, right? I was told it was going to take a week. We're already into week number 3, but he says he's almost ready to, have our executive team do the testing on it, because we're going to do live testing on a copy of the database and see if everything works properly with other people other than the programmer himself. And the programmer can do a lot of his testing himself, but it's always good to get other people. So we're using the executive team, and if that goes well, then we can then release it to the whole all of you. And those of you that already signed up, you don't have to do anything different. Everything remains the same for you. This is for the new people joining. So when new people join, they're going to take a streamlined path to onboarding. And so everything would be faster, easier, better for them. And those of you that are already signed up, yeah, it shouldn't impact you at all. You keep doing what you're doing. You don't have to change your wallet. You don't have to do any changes. I mean, that's what I told them to code. Okay, by the way, that's how it's supposed to be. Okay, so I'm pretty sure the final product will end up being that. But you know, I'm always a little tense when it comes to that as well because sometimes there's miscommunication. But I think I've been very clear on that point. I don't want any disruptions to the existing membership. I want business as usual for you guys. And this is just to make it easier for new people to join. And then after that, we're gonna do the verification. Okay, so we're gonna set up an administrative part to our website where we can start verifying those of you that are already receiving distribution, and then we get a chunk of you done, and then we'll turn distribution on for that chunk. Okay, and then we'll get the rest of you done after that, and then just we'll turn distribution on in little you know segments until everybody that's inside of distribution or supposed to be receiving coins distributed every day, it will start happening. But if you're violating our policies, you can end up suspended instead. Okay. So make sure you spread the word to your teams that they need to read that commitment. Okay. What am I talking about here? Share my screen. Talking about this. You can watch the video, but I suggest you read it. Okay. Here it is. Right at the top. Pool funding commitment. There's the video. But everything the video says is written out here because you can review it, study it. We want 100% compliance. We're not going to give you a coin unless you are 100% compliant with what's written here. Okay. If you're doing something other than what it says that you can and can't do, okay, then whip yourself into shape. Try to get yourself in proper order so that you don't trigger a suspension. Okay. So right now it's time to study this and get really clear on this. It's very, very important. The idea behind the commitment here is so that 100% of our members win, right? We have two choices here. Everybody wins, or a few people win big at the expense of everyone else. Okay. Those are the two choices. I'm all for this one. Everybody wins. I hate this one, where a few people benefit at the expense of everyone else. I hate that. That's why the commitment matters. Okay. You guys agree with me on that?
Absolutely.
Agreed.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's important. All right. So
Yes.
that's the next piece of software we'll be writing. And we got a whole bunch of other software. We're going to have genealogy. We're going to have a whole lot of, I got more software projects lined up for the program to do. If I had more money, I'd be ready to bring in one or two more programmers, right? So, pool funding pays for itself. I'm operating on, budgets with whatever I'm working with. I don't really tax anybody. You guys get 100% commission, So those of you that, want to become a well, maybe we can work something out where you can help me pay the bills and you can get a special deal. All right. So reach out to me. All right. So, but anyway, the prices are so low, and I think any of you that wants to become well can just do it on your own. But either way, I'm open to negotiations. Okay. Talk to me. All right. So, it's an exciting time. We're about to go into the month of June. We're about to finish up May here. So far the world hasn't blown up. That's good news, So kind of glad to hear that we're still, we're all breathing. Everything's, nothing weird has really happened except for, um, some irritating things, but other than irritating things, nothing terrible. Society's still operating more or less for now, you know. Um, and I hope it stays that way. We're in kind of we're being kind of wrung like a rag right now. Okay, if you look at what's going on in the world, so we can still manage to live our lives, but you definitely feel the pressure of the ringing that's going on. But most of us are aware of what's going on, so I'm not telling you anything new. But yeah, no asteroids hit the planet. Nothing crazy has happened, so far. That's good. All right. I think those are the updates I wanted to cover. All right. So Rosalie, you did have your hand up early on. You took it down. You can go ahead and unmute now. What's on your mind, dear?
Okay, I'm just asking, sir, regarding the whales. If we need every pool, we need to be a
No,
whale so that we can go for the top 50.
you can be
So,
you
okay.
can be in one pool and be a well. But if you're in all four,
Yay!
if you're well in all four of the coins, you're a super well.
Oh,
So
wow.
so
That's only, sir, because I want to ask, I want to hear somebody here for those all new here that they can be a whale in every pool if they want, or just choose the pool they want also.
Yeah, if you're not already a well in PFS, it's going to cost you about $7,000 right now to become a well. If you got zero PFS coin right now, and you want to become a well, and you want to buy enough coin to bump off number 50, it's going to cost about $7,000 right now to become a well in PFS. PFI, PFB, and PFG, you can become a well in all three of them for $500 each, or less than $500 each for all three of them. So for $1,500, you can become a well in all three of those, and just spread it around like that, and you get that down. But what you see happening with PFS, it's going to happen in all four of our coins, where the price is going to get to a point where, becoming a well, and number 50, bumping number 50 off, becomes more of a challenge. Okay. So just learn how to use the charts. I'm going to teach you a little bit about that one more time. I like the poo chart because it has a lot of nice, convenient buttons on it. So, like for example, here, this is PFS right here. We went from let's see here, 19. What's the date on that? 20. Yeah, in the last day, we went from 25,000 to 43,000 in the last 24 hours. So we moved nicely there. Okay. Anyway, if you take a look here on when you're in the PooCoin chart, you can see you got transactions, contract, and the holders. Okay. You can click on the holders, and that opens up what you want. Okay. Yes, I'm human. All right. So the first page, okay. So these are the holders. So the smallest holder's got about 17% of a coin on PFS. Okay. So that's actually pretty high. I mean, you compare that to PFG, and the 50th holder on PFG is, it's not 17%, it's 0.0005. I mean, it's dust compared to 17%. Okay, so that's why it's actually so cheap to become a well in PFG, even though the price is like $750,000, right? It's the position number 50 that you got to look at. Okay, that's how you find it, guys. All right. Anything else, Rosalie? You got a big team, hundreds upon hundreds of people
That's
below you.
That's only, sir. I want to share to my group here, which is they are also here now, and I want them to. I'm pretty sure one person is going an unknown over there, so I will talk if he is the one who are unknown over there in PFG and PFG. I'm sure because they said that they are buying, but I did not see their names over there.
Well, there you go. Yeah, so they need to get over 0.0005. They're going to get that over that amount, right? So
Yeah, yes, sir.
that's what they got to do. And we've got Hunter wearing his pizza hat because Bitcoin is going up like crazy. We've just celebrated Pizza Day, and so Bitcoin's our granddaddy. So it's the beginning of it all, right? So granddaddy Bitcoin here. Take a week view. So you can see here, you know, yep, yep. Looks to me like we have got to the point where we can actually rest at 100,000. So I don't think I don't think we're gonna see many opportunities below $100,000 Bitcoin anymore. I think Bitcoin is on its way up big time. I figure we're about halfway there, just like you saw this go from all the way up here. This is kind of the halfway point. I think we're currently on this rise here. I think we're in the halfway point right now. This is the weekly chart. The daily chart looks like that. I think we're halfway there. I think that little red candle is going to turn into a green one by the end of the day, and it's going to keep on going well above 112,000 and keep on making highs for the next, while, and then it may or may not pull back down to the 110,000. It may just keep going and never see the light of day of 100,000 again. So it's just got blue sky ahead of it. So anybody that's holding Bitcoin, they're pretty happy right about now, seeing their value of their coins going up. And look, this has been in the making for 15 years. Bitcoin started 15 years ago. And I can recall even when I was looking at Bitcoin back in 2013 when I first got involved with it, what's that, like 12 years ago, right? They were talking about $100,000 Bitcoin. But it didn't happen in a couple of years. It took actually about 9 more years. So I've been hearing the anticipation of getting to 100,000 price for over 8 years with Bitcoin. So in a way, it's been a slow, steady process, upward to the current all-time high that it's experiencing right now. And people are now got their targets. I mean, again, people like round numbers, so the $1 million number comes up all the time too for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million a coin. I don't doubt it. I don't know when it will happen, but I don't doubt it's going to go to 1 million. I could make a case that it would make sense for it to go to 1 million now, right? I mean, there's a lot of reasons why it should go up fast at this point. There's things in the last 2 years that didn't exist in Bitcoin before that exist now, market conditions, if you will, fundamentals, if you will, that didn't exist 2 years ago, and they make Bitcoin a very like a mainstream type of thing now. So I'd say Bitcoin is officially mainstream, even though most people still don't have any of it. I just like everybody knows about it, and anybody who's got money has probably got a little bit of it. They got some, right? So anybody that's you consider wealthy, I bet you, along with the gold that they might be holding, they're probably holding some Bitcoin as well. All right, and then eventually they're going to learn about pool funding, and they're going to want our coins. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. That's the future we're going to make happen together. All right, thank you, Rosalie. Okay, so I'll just open it up to you guys since we're on this is our last official training before the end of the week here. Anything on your mind? Anything you want to talk about before we close out today? Are you excited about being a well? Are you excited about staying a well? That's the main topic I put out there today. Don't be
I'd say
quiet.
so. I'm very happy about staying a well so far.
There you go. Stay well. Stay well. Check the chat here. I see a lot of chatting going on here. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Fly fishing. Funny. Uh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Just going through the chat on from our meeting here. Okay, excellent. All right. So mostly just saying hello to each other and stuff. Okay, good. Well, anyway, guys, this is business in the sense that we're all here coming together with the intent to bring in money. And the way pool funding works, you get paid 100% of whatever you bring in. So you don't have to share any of it with me. Some of you are really happy about that, by the way. So you know, it's not easy to put an opportunity together where you give 100% commission. Okay. It's pretty rare to do it. It takes a certain kind of creator like myself that be willing to do it. Um, but I'm going for the big picture here. You know what I'm saying? So, um, and you know, it's going to all make sense in the end, and it's all going to be worth the effort in the end, even for myself, because it's been kind of a sacrifice on my time for the last couple of years, to you know, to do things this way, you know. But I just know that the end result is going to be worth it, not only for me but for all of you. So I want, and that's what I'm. That's why I did it this way. It's super generous. You'll. I don't think you're going to find a business opportunity that's more generous than pool funding when it comes to any aspect you want to point at. You know, I mean, you can look at it from a lot of different angles and come to the same conclusion. That's very generous. Well, that's also generous. And, you know, there's a lot of generosity built in that you're not going to find another business opportunity because most creators are very self-serving, okay, in the way that they view the world. You know, I don't see myself in that light. I see myself as one of you, right? We're in this together, and that we can actually, you know, do something special, so that we can have a positive impact on humanity, right? And I did put some videos up on the Telegram group yesterday. I think it was yesterday. What I'm concerned about in the next 5 years, that I'm very concerned about humanity. Okay, I mean, you got people out there saying that, you know, this could be the end of humanity as we know it. So, you know, some of those videos kind of touched on that information and why someone would say that. Why would someone say this is the end of humanity as we know it? Why would they say that? Well, it has to do with technology. The idea that some people think it's a good idea to take biology and technology and mesh it together. And I'm here to tell you that's a horrible idea. Okay. So let's make sure that we become a little bit knowledgeable on that topic, because it's going to be advertised, it's going to be marketed, really slick marketing, you know, to persuade people that it's a good idea, you know, to do it. And it's not just for the people like the one-offs, like the guy doesn't have any arms or legs and you know, needs a brain chip in order to operate, you know, some prosthetic, you know, robotic type arms and legs like the bionic man. I mean, that's a one-off where, okay, you can make a case where that, you know, the technology makes sense there. It just doesn't make sense when you say that all of us have to have this crap put into our bodies. That doesn't make sense. So uh, that's why what we're doing here in pool funding matters, because we're giving people a financial incentive to look at the world differently and not just go along with, you know, what they say. Okay. If everybody just goes along with what they say, yeah, it could be the end of humanity as we know it. We cannot go along with what they say any longer. We have to wake up and realize that it's not just our lives that matter, but our children, our grandchildren, and so on. And you know, and we have to care enough about, you know, the big picture, humanity overall, you know, and what goes on in the world. So, um, uh, uh, ignorance is going to cost people a lot. Anybody moving into the next 5 years with in sheer ignorance about everything, the price that those people will pay for that level of ignorance is probably going to cost them their life. I figured it's a death sentence at this point. Ignorance equals a death sentence. Okay, you're not going to survive what's coming. Okay, you won't. So wake up. Make sure other people wake up, and make sure people realize that the power has always been in the hands of the people. It's just that the people forgot that they had the power. And so when we all wake up to just how much power we have, especially collectively, when we group together and say, there's a better way to do this thing. We don't have to do it that way or this way because that way sucks, right? We could do it this way and end up with a luxury economy. That's better, right? And that's it. If you look at the whole message of pool funding, it's not just don't. It's also do, leading us into a luxury economy for all of humanity. Okay. And I've put some videos on the page reminding you about that. Some videos that I made like 8 or 9 months ago. I brought those back to light and put them on the Telegram group. So go look for those videos I'm talking about because this is it. The next 5 years matters. It's like we've been practicing until now. We're in the game now. This is the official game, right? So everything before now was practice. As of right now, we're in the game. What happens in the next 5 years, it matters. Do you guys, am I talking like a crazy person to you guys, or do you think I'm talking sense? You tell me. I'm open to hearing either one. You can tell me I'm crazy. It's okay.
You're
What do you?
not talking crazy, far from it.
Okay,
You
so
know exactly what's going on, and I wish more people knew.
yeah, okay, good. I'm
You
tiptoeing.
for real. That's
I'm actually tiptoeing around it. I'm trying not to call it out. I'm being straight, but I'm not being bombastic. Go ahead, Cliffietta. Go ahead. Sorry, cut you off there.
no, that's fine. No, I was just saying you being for real, and we have to be for real about things today. We can't be, messing around. We just have to get with it, and do what we need to do because tomorrow will come. And then after that, it might be too late, you know.
Yeah,
So we have to really take care of now. Mhm.
yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, it's just the ignorance thing. Yeah, we can't afford it. Okay, humanity cannot afford it right now. And even though I think we still got about a battle with about half of the world population. With a solid half of the world population, they're super ignorant. They don't even have a clue.
Mhm.
And we got to get past that. We got to push that mark way past the halfway point. So some people have a clue, but they're scared to death. And that's
Yeah.
where pool funding comes into play because if they don't see an alternative, then they just got to go along with it anyway. Because oh, it is. They'll just kind of throw their arms up. It is what it is. And that's what happens when you got nothing but you're standing alone, and even if you know what you still want to be here one way or the other, and that's the problem.
Mhm.
Is that most people, if they're not given alternatives, clear, functional, working alternatives, by the time the hard choices come, they're gonna just go along with it. Okay. Even if they aren't ignorant, they're gonna go along with it. That's why it's game on. We have a couple of years to kind of build up what we're doing in pool funding and make a strong case for the idea that we the people can come together and create a luxury economy and we can prove that it works. Okay. We can
Mhm.
prove it. And see, that's what we
Yeah.
got to do. That's the whole point. Okay.
Mhm.
We can prove that we can do this. And then people will go, yeah, that doesn't make sense compared to a luxury economy. In either case,
Mhm.
you forget about your job. You lost it already. 6 years from now, you're not going to be doing that job. Whatever you're doing right now as a job, you're not going to be doing it 6 years from now. Okay. Technology will take over all the jobs. It's just what's going to happen, for the most part, with some exceptions, of course.
It,
There's always exceptions. All
it,
right.
can I say this?
Sure.
I think with a lot of people that I know, they're afraid. They've been in so many things and got scammed and all that because I'm one of them. But
Yeah.
they've tried things and they were phony, they were fake. They weren't real.
Right.
They were just out for. You were saying you're doing this for us because
Yeah.
you're not getting the money. You're doing the same thing you're teaching us to do.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
but other people were set up where everything would flow to them, and
Right.
then you be left. Ones under them were left out. So that's why people are afraid right now, But hopefully a lot of them would see, that this is different. It's something that will help us. So
Yeah, this is
I'm just
beyond
yeah.
different. I mean, it's like it's head and shoulders above everything else
Hmm.
out there.
Yeah.
You're not going to find 100% commission opportunity like this, that's got as much support as we have and a whole long list of other things in play. So we got the market working for us. We're not just shuffling other people's money around. You know what I'm saying? We're tapping the market, right? So ultimately, we're attaching a big pump to it. We're going to pump money out of the market and pull some money out of there and bring it into the hands of the people, you know. And it takes time for it to you go from a trickle of money, money coming out of the market to gushing with like a dam breaking, what I'm saying, of money coming to the people. But ultimately, it's going to turn into that because that's the whole point of the design of pool funding is we do our effort here and it puts pressure to pull money out of the market into back into the economy, and that's where it needs to be circulating back in the economy, and it obviously pass through the hands of our members. So yeah, I know people are afraid when it comes to looking at everything, and I'm going to tell you right now, people are going to have to get down to their gut level and make a choice. Am I going to pursue fear or am I going to pursue love? Because it's going to be pretty clear. Because pool funding is not the only option. Pool funding is not the only way to, navigate the storm, if you will, that's it's heading our way. It's not the only option. But I can tell you what the foundation of any function, any option that's going to actually make it through the storm is going to be love based. Okay, it's going to be based
Yes.
in love. Anything that's fear
Hmm.
based is going to be washed out.
Yes.
Fear leads to the destruction. So
Hmm.
people that want to choose to lean on fear as a reason to not do something, they don't realize just how much that costs them to be fear-based. You know, I did do a video on that as well about 7 months ago, talking about um, um, the most expensive choice you can make is missing an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? That's the most expensive thing you can do is miss out. And a lot of people do miss out because they're afraid. But yeah, there's a whole pool funding's got purpose, and it's not just about making money. And that's kind of what I was talking about at the end here, that we have um, some this is the game right now. We're in the game right now. It was all practice up till now because the overall purpose of pool funding is to help people make it through the next 5 years and actually have a better outcome than what otherwise be provided by the so-called, leaders or authorities, you know. Um, yeah, the we had to get to the point where we had to make clear choices on who we're going to trust, and I actually trust the people more than I trust the institutions, you know. So things that are institutionalized, pick a category. I'm very I got a lot of questions. Let's put it that way. Got a lot of questions. I don't you know I don't come trusting in it because I've already seen too much to trust any of that. And a lot of people just think that they don't have to think. That's the problem. They think that they don't have to think, and therefore they just gotta go along, and then they're being driven by the institutions to go a certain path, and it's not going to be good. Not good. It's not good. And some of you can pull out your Bible. Maybe you know what I'm talking about if you pull your Bibles out. Other people, it's just, you know, whether you look at the Bible or not, you can look at this from so many different angles. So it's not only coming from a biblical point of view, but it's also coming from like the evidence has arrived. This is what we're faced with right now. And what I see is hope, because when I look at everything, I always see that we've always had choice. So the one thing that doesn't get taken automatically is choice. Everybody will have choice. And I believe the first choice you got to make, stay ignorant or not be ignorant, you know, because at least you get more clear on choices after that. If you do the effort to learn what's going on in the world that you're in, right? Can't just operate with your, with not with no concern at all. You gotta be like looking. Everything should be put into question. And if we do that, pool funding makes sense. The more people are questioning the world, the more they're going to be interested in pool funding. Okay, because pool funding is going to be like, oh, that is a solution. Oh, that is a solution, because it's meant to be a solution. We're a solution on purpose. We're not just a money making deal, right? We're better than that. We're an opportunity that's we're going to give first before we take, right? And when we go to take, it's so little what we take, and then what the ongoing value that you'll get moving forward is so much larger than whatever you actually contribute. So your contributions will be small compared to the benefits and rewards. See, all of that, the whole thing will fit into a situation where people that are just afraid. It's like, what are you afraid of? You're afraid of receiving? Are you afraid of getting money? You're afraid of having money? You're afraid of someone offering you money? Because that's what we're leading with. We're leading with a giveaway, right? And I got some people helping me out. I got one of my people's helped me make a new video. So I'm pretty excited about where that's going to go. So when it's ready, we'll roll it out in front of you. But we got some cool things happening behind the scenes, is what I'm trying to say. And uh, it's just going to get sweeter. Every month from this point forward, I think we're going to go from sweeter to sweeter, sweeter. Everything's going to get nice and sweet. No one's going to be afraid. So that's a very long answer, I guess, Cliffietta, to your concern that people are afraid. The cool thing about what we offer is that what do you have to be afraid of when it comes? If anybody that just takes, a moment of time to look, there's nothing to fear in what they're going to see. Nothing. Okay, I see something here on chat. Yeah, okay. Yeah. A question comes up: can you market on social media? Like, yeah, I've given you. For me, I have a lot of good experience putting posts out on social media. Some people have been very successful using posts, but for all the people that take a look at something, you know, but this right here, to me, if you can show this to people one-on-one in like a direct message through social media, like on Messenger or whatever, you could send it to them as a message. This poster here works great. And you can get that, it's all over the place. You can find this poster everywhere. If you don't have it, come to me and I'll give it to you. Well, that's the one that seems to be working the best right now for social media. Okay. So once again, the coin targets are $500,000 for PFI, $1 million for PFB, $2 million for PFS, $4 million for PFG. Those are the targets. How much is it going to cost to get to those targets? Less than $50,000. So we have over 3,000 members. Do the math, right? It doesn't take that many of you coming together to come up with the $50,000 together to bring the price up to the target where it needs to be. And some of you, in the pursuit of becoming a well, going to come up with 1,000 here, 2,000 there. There's if there's 10 or 20 of you pursuing to become a well, that could easily get us into the $50,000 that we need in order to get to all of our price targets. So because of the leverage built into the way the liquidity is structured right now, we can get to those price targets very, very fast. Doesn't take a lot of money. So it's all by design. Okay. It's not going to take millions of dollars to get to these price targets, which are the prices are millions of dollars, but it doesn't cost millions of dollars to get there. All by design. All right. Well, good meeting, guys. Thank you all for coming. I guess it must have been interacting with you on a chat basis. That you've been chatting with me here, and I've been answering, concerns and questions that way. We'll see you guys on Saturday for our next number 4. So our 4th Well Club rally at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. Okay, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Saturday we'll do our 4th Well Club rally. And let's see if we can turn 1 or 2 or 3 of you into wells during the rally. That'd be awesome. So come with some money and ready to go. And if you need training, go to our Telegram group and look for the training on how to use Pancake Swap, because that's the best place to do the swapping. Is instead of doing it directly in your MetaMask wallet, just use the Pancake Swap to do that. And we have several training videos on how to do that. Okay, so we can all unmute now and say, see you at the rally.
See you at the rally.
See you at
Good
the
rally.
rally. Have a great night.
Super
See you
whale.
at the rally.